Hey guys, welcome to my DVD and Blu-ray collection video part 2. Still quite a lot, and the last part was 29 minutes, which I did not want it to go on that long, but it decided it was going to upload, so we'll see how long this goes, hopefully shorter, so we'll get started. Next is Knocked Up. I said before, this is probably my least favourite Judd Apatow film. This is directed by him. I don't think the storyline is that funny. I like Paul Rudd's character in this, and they did a spin-off. This is 40 of it. Haven't seen that yet, but hopefully I will do some point. And yeah, I think Seth Rogen's a bit more serious in this film, and that's probably why I didn't find it as funny as most of the other ones. I still like it, I just don't think it's as good. So, yeah. Next is another Judd Apatow film, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. This is directed by him, and I like this film. I don't think it's anything amazing or original well, it's got some funny things in it that are kind of original, and I think everyone in this generation has seen this film because it is a fairly popular film, and I like it. I didn't laugh as much as I thought I was going to do, but I just think the storyline was decent as well, so it was a good film. Next is the 5-Year Engagement. This is produced by Judd Apatow. As you'll know, I'm a big fan of his, so I've got a lot of his films. Jason Segel, one of my favourite actors. I think he's hilarious in How I Met Your Mother, and I just think he's a pretty good actor as well. Emily Blunt, this is a film that opened my eyes to her. I think she's a very talented actress. I've seen her in Looper as well, and I like the story behind this. It's a romantic kind of comedy, but it's not full of cheese. It's more light-hearted drama with bits of comedy in it rather than total romantic comedy. But I like this. It was a pleasant surprise. I didn't hate it. I thought it was going to be very, very cheesy, but I like it. I'm just going to get the box set of TV out. The Inbetweeners, one of my favourite shows. This is seasons 1, 2 and 3, and I have the film later on. I think it's so funny, this series. I think America have absolutely killed it with their Inbetweeners USA. I think it's absolutely terrible. This is just amazing though. I mean, all 4 characters are hilarious. I think I'd say Neil's my favourite because I don't know, he does some stupid things that I kind of see myself probably doing. Yeah, check this out. Check this one out. Sorry, not the American one, because this is 10 times better. Next is Breaking Bad. This is 1, 2 and 3. I've seen all of them, as I've said in my reviews or whatever I've talked about it in. This is possibly, I mean, after I watched it, it was my favourite show, but now it's probably second, maybe third. It is one of the best TV shows around, I'd say though, and 2 absolutely phenomenal actors in Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston, absolutely brilliant. Please check this out if you haven't checked it out. It's on Netflix. Definitely, highly cannot recommend this any more than just watch it. Next is Black Swan. This is another film that was a pleasant surprise. It's Darren Aronofsky. Haven't really seen much of his films. I think it's really quite a weird film. It messes with your head a little bit. There's a twist at the end that when I watched it I didn't get, so I had to kind of think about it on afterwards, and I think the storyline is really dark, and it, I think it's brilliantly performed by Natalie Portman, and Mila Kunis is pretty good in it as well. Um, yeah, I think I need to watch this again. I've only seen it once, and it was about a few years ago. But yeah, it won the Best Actress at the Academy Awards, so it must have been doing something well, and I think it's a very unique kind of film as well. Next is Borat. Uh, Obviously I got this cheap, as you can see. I think Borat is hilarious. I think this is the best out of the three Sacha Baron Cohen, the four now, sorry. I think Borat is, it's so outgoing now and daring, and I can't believe some of the stuff they do in this. I mean, I think it's all him actually doing it, and people didn't know it were a film. I think it's absolutely just genius comedy. I could watch this again and again and still laugh. It's so funny. Yeah, I've seen bits of Dictator. I'm not too keen on that. I've got Ali G. I do like it, not as much as this though. And I haven't seen Bruno, I don't think. Next is The Prestige. I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to go into details in it. Fantastic performances, fantastic story, and some amazing twists. Christopher Nolan at his best. Another film I've talked about, Van Helsing. I love it. Well, I wouldn't say I love it, I just really, really like it, and it's a special film to me. And yeah, it's really, really bad, but in a good way, and I really like it. I mean, I can't really say much more. You either like it or you don't like it, and it's based on opinion, really, isn't it? Next is one of my favourite films of all time. That's Kick-Ass. This is the Real Heroes edition, which I want to get it on Blu-ray on this, but it's proving hard to find at a decent price. I watched this film after hearing so many good things about it, and I wasn't expecting anything from it really. I was expecting a superhero film, and that was it. But it actually probably is my favourite superhero film of all time. I well, besides the Dark Knight and besides the Dark Knight trilogy and the Avengers, I just like it so much. I think all the actors are really put strong performances in. The music in it is really good as well, which is always good for a film. And the sequel's not half bad either. Next is a film that I haven't seen yet. I put on for about 5 minutes and then I turned it off because I wanted to be in the full mood for it, and that is Let the Right One In. I got this confused with Let Me In and The Uninvited. The Uninvited is supposed to be terrible, Let Me In is supposed to be good, and I think this is the original of one of those films. I'm not too sure, but it's a foreign film, which doesn't bother me as long as it's not dubbed, and this is subtitled, I think. I really do want to watch this actually. I mean, it looks really interesting, and hopefully it's a new kind of vampire take rather than the same old we keep seeing. Next is another lenticular 3D cover, and that is Looper. This is DVD. I like this cover as well. I mean, I do want this on Blu-ray because I think it's a really good film. Again, it's Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt is really good in this. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is really good, and Bruce Willis is actually decent in this. I mean, his films these days have kind of been hit and miss, and I think this is definitely a hit. I think it's the effort that's gone into the storyline. It's not just said, oh, there's time travel, here we go, there's action in it. It's given you the details on the time travel and enough for you to understand what is actually going on. And it is a bit confusing at times if you're not paying attention, but if you stick with it, you're rewarded, I'd say. Definitely check it out. Next is Love Guru. This is so bad. I mean, I can't even begin to explain how bad it is. The only good thing is Jessica Alba. Everything else, I mean, there's some parts in it that did make me laugh, but it's kind of just the immaturity of it that makes you laugh. The rest of it's just not really funny, and the storyline is so paper thin, it's unbelievable. Justin Timberlake is in this. I don't know why he's in this. It does nothing for his career. Mike Myers is definitely better than this, and don't watch this film. I can't. I don't know why I've got it, to be honest with you. I'm gonna go next is Insidious. £7, which I think is a bit much for a DVD these days. This is a film that I had good expectations, and I was a bit disappointed because the first half was really good and quite tense and scary. Then the second half was just poor. I think as soon as you see the demon in it, I thought Darth Maul. I mean, I don't know if anyone else thought that. Yeah, it just looked like him, and the storyline just went downhill from there, in my opinion. I haven't seen the second one. I do want to see it, see if they do a better, see if they can keep up what the first part of this one did well. But it is James Wan, and James Wan is a very talented horror director, and Lee Whannell. Both know what they're doing when it comes to horror, but yeah, I mean, I don't hate this film. I do like it. I just don't think it's as scary as some people say it is. Next is the In-Betweeners movie, which I've mentioned the series. I like this film. I don't know if it's as funny as the TV shows. I don't think I'd say it's that funny compared to them, but I do think it does hold up well for a TV movie, and it's basically just a really long episode of the In-Betweeners, I think, and it has the laughs, it has the pure stupid idiocy of all these three, and I just think it's really funny. And I hear they're doing a In-Betweeners 2, which I'm looking forward to, as long as they don't make it stupid or lose the touch. I don't want it to be one step too far in the In-Betweeners saga. Hopefully it'll be like this. Next is Fight Club. I really like this. I don't know if I want to get Blu-ray because I prefer this to the Blu-ray cover, because it's got like it's got like a booklet and 2 discs, and I just really like it. I mean, I saw it at a car boot sale one time, and I don't really buy much from there. I never really go, to be honest with you, but this, on the off chance that I did, I saw it was like £2, which £2 for this is just a steal in my opinion. Great film, and yeah, I mean, I'd think I'm going to keep it on DVD. I might just get the Blu-ray for the sake of having it in my collection, but I'm definitely going to keep this as well. Next is another Judd Apatow film, and it's Forgetting Sarah Marshall. This is... I really like this film. I hear a lot of people think it's okay. I think it's really good. I mean, Russell Brand's in it. I think Russell Brand's hilarious. Jason Segel again is hilarious. Mila Kunis and Kristen Bell, 2 things to look at, really. I mean, but they also are actually quite good in this film as well. It's not just there for the sake of having some eye candy. It's actually some good characters, and they're essential to the storyline, because Kristen Bell plays Sarah Marshall, and the whole storyline is about Jason Segel's character trying to get over a breakup with him. But yeah, this is, as I've said, it's Judd Apatow. I really like it, and I'd recommend it if you like Judd Apatow's films. I'm going to do a few more. I don't want this to be... In fact, I'll have a look. I'll do a few more. Next is Fright Night. This was another very pleasant surprise. I mean, I was expecting it to be. I didn't expect Fright Night to be funny. I was expecting it to be a serious horror film, but it's quite light-hearted and humorous, but dark at the same time. And Colin Farrell is very good in this film. David Tennant's character, I think David Tennant's character is really quite good in this. Strong performances all round, and I really do like this. It's a top film, and I haven't seen the original, so I can't say if I prefer it, but it is a good horror film and a good vampire film. Another Judd Apatow film, and that is Get Him to the Greek. In my opinion, probably his best film. This is one of the funniest films I've seen. I mean, I don't care if people don't like it. In my opinion, it's the funniest film I've seen. Probably one of them. Russell Brand is the main character in this more, and so is Seth. I keep calling him Seth. Jonah Hill. They are just, the chemistry in this film is really, really funny, and even I think it's P Diddy who's in this. He's quite funny as well, but I just like, because it's got a lot of music in it, because it's a kind of a musical kind of thing, but it's rock music, and I think the music is really, really good in its own, and it's such a funny film. I can't suggest this enough. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Next is Hostel. A very gruesome film. My opinion is, well, Saw 1, 2 and 3 are better than this, but this is better than Saw 4, 5, 6 and 7, even though I haven't seen them, but I've seen 4, I've seen 5, and seen bits of 6 and haven't seen any 7. I think this it's Eli Roth, and if anyone's ever seen one of his films, they know they can be quite dark and horrible and gory. But it's produced by Quentin Tarantino as well, which I think that gives it a little touch of something. I mean, it's not a great film by any means. It is enjoyable, if that's the right word, but it's quite forgetful as well. It's not a film that I'm going to be talking about for a week after I've watched it. It's kind of just there, watch it, and then move on. Another box set, well, I'm going to show these all together. This is the Russell Brand Menage a Trois, which includes Doing Life Live, Ponderland and Russell Brand Live. I think Russell Brand's hilarious, and that's why I got this, because he's one of my favourite comedians along with Russell Howard. There's Scandalous here as well. All are so funny. I mean, there's one, I can't remember which one it is. I think it's Russell Brand Live. I think it's had a moment in it that just had me in tears, and I nearly threw up laughing. It was that funny. I know a lot of people don't like him. He's a kind of a Marmite kind of person. You either love him or you hate him. I really like him. I think he's a brilliant comedian and just a funny guy in general. So yeah. Next is Salt. This is a okay action film. I watched it like 4 or 5 years ago. Came out 2010, so probably 4 years ago I got it when it came out. Angelina Jolie is quite good in this film. I mean, it's not perfect and it's not amazing, but it's a decent action film, and I did enjoy it. I think there's like an extended cut, extended edition that I haven't watched that version. I'm probably gonna have to watch this again soon because I can't remember much about it. I just remember thinking it was okay. And I'm gonna end it after these last ones, these group of them, sorry, and it is the Saw franchise. I think this is all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, yeah. As you can see, I've seen a bit of 6 before on, I think it was TV or something. I haven't seen 7, them 2 haven't been opened, but the other 5 have. My opinion, the first one's the best one, and you won't beat that one. I just think it was so well done, and it was James Wan as well, and was the second one by him? No, the second one was Lee Whannell. The third one was both of them, and I think the rest of them were someone else. I'm not too sure though. But I don't mind 4. I don't think it's as good as 3, 2, and 1. But 5, I just can't. I couldn't get into it. I do want to watch it though, because apparently the last one's supposed to be really good. How it all links up. So I'm probably gonna watch them. But yeah, I mean, Saw's another one that's either hit or miss. You either love it or you hate it. Personally, I don't mind it. I just think it did go on too long. And I'm just gonna pause this video again, and I'll do a few more just because it seems like it's going to be too much for a part 3 and for just a part 3, so I'm going to have to do some more. Next is Michael McIntyre, Hello Wembley. I think Michael McIntyre is funny. I don't think he's amazing or as good as some of the other comedians I like, but he is funny, and this did make me laugh quite a bit. It's another one who people don't like, but well, some people like him, some people don't. Some people think he's amazing, some people think he's absolutely terrible. I think he's like more on the side of good. Next is The Night of the Living Dead. This is an absolute classic zombie film. If anyone's into zombie films and classic kind of old films, definitely watch this, because this just starts. This is what kicked off the zombie genre, and George Romero, he knows what he's doing. It's inspired so many different films. I mean, without this you probably wouldn't have The Walking Dead either, because I think Robert Kirkman was a very big fan of these kind of films, and the zombie genre, if this was what lifted it and made everyone start making zombie films, and without this you wouldn't have that today. Next is Pearl Harbor. I didn't know this was directed by Michael Bay, but I could have guessed it if I wouldn't have looked, because it's just full of explosions. Another Kate Beckinsale film. I don't think I've ever watched this all the way through. I think I've watched the first half one time and the second half another time. I don't think I've ever watched it all the way through, because it is nearly 3 hours long. I do think it's a okay film from what I remember of it. I think it's definitely one of Michael Bay's best, but I don't know, I just think it goes on a bit too long, but that's just my opinion. I mean, I know it's considered a classic and a lot of people do like it, so speaking of classics, it's Pulp Fiction. This is, I can't decide between this and Reservoir Dogs, between my favourite Tarantino movie. I'm leaning more towards this purely because I like I like all the different interchanging characters and all the storylines. But it is very Tarantino. I think if you haven't seen this, you need to check it out, because it is such a good film. And Samuel L. Jackson is just absolutely brilliant in this film, I think. I don't know much more I can say about it. I just really, really love this film, and I'm probably going to get that on Blu-ray, because I want to get the films I really like. Next is Van Wilder 2, The Rise of Taj. Now Kal Penn, I think it is, or Kal Penn, I think it is. He is in Harold and Kumar, which I haven't seen, but it's supposed to be pretty funny in it. I watched this. I do like this film, but I did only originally get it because Lauren Cohan is in it from Walking Dead, and it was a pleasant surprise to actually enjoy the film. I mean, it is. I can see why people consider it bad and pretty rubbish, but I don't think it's terrible. It's kind of American Pie. Sorry. It's kind of that style. It just doesn't seem to ever reach that kind of level, and yeah, I mean, it's not a bad film, but it's not a great film either. Right, I'm gonna end it there. I think I've got enough for a part 3, and so I'm gonna film that right now and then upload them both together. So I'll see you in the next part.